Sunday, May 21, beautiful Pine River, Minnesota. We're starting to document the garden. Here's Troy. He is smoothing out the rows that will be carrots. We will be planting those today. We have 3 rows here of potato. They've been in the ground for a week, not coming up quite yet. This long run of fence will be peas and beans of multiple different varieties. These 3 70-ish foot rows are also potatoes that have been in the ground for a week. Nothing popping up there yet. This run will also be beans. It's planted about that last stake, so call it 90% of the way, with multiple different kinds of beans. And this on the outside is 1 more row of potatoes, again planted last weekend. The reason we put the potatoes next to the beans is because of companion planting ideals, where it's said that beans can help make sure that potato bugs do not eat your potatoes. So we'll test that theory this year. See what happens. We put some tarps down. We will be putting more tarps down. This is purely to help us control weeds. So where you see holes in there, we'll plant things like tomatoes. We also do companion planting with the tomatoes. For every 1 to 2 tomatoes, there's a basil plant. They make each other happy. Here is something I'm most excited about. Well, okay, we're closest to our starts. So I'll show you the starts first. These guys have been growing. They all started in our front window at the house in Bloomington. And they've been doing quite well. We've gotten quite lucky. We have cucumbers, melons, some squash in there. Of course, tomatoes. Way too many tomatoes. We'll get to that in a minute. This is all herbs. There's basil, there's lemongrass, thyme, rosemary, aduc. And here we have a whole tray of marigold. What's interesting about marigold is that, excuse me, companion planting idea. So last year, my mom had broccoli and Brussels sprouts and cabbage, and companion planting ideals said that if you put marigolds in and throughout those plants, you would avoid those little white butterflies that lay those nasty, nasty eggs, and keep them off of your brassicas. Brassicas being cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, etc. And it worked. It was crazy. There were no white butterflies, no nasty, nasty worms. So planted a bunch of those. This is what I'm most excited about. This is our arched trellis. It is made out of 5 panels. They're called cattle panels. They are 40 inches wide and 16 feet long. 50 inches wide, 16 feet long. And put T-posts in the ground and arch them, and the tension on the cattle panel pretty much keeps it vertical. There's 5.5 feet in between each cattle panel across the bottom, and I would say it's roughly 6 foot. 6 foot and a couple inches tall, so a tall person can walk through. And what we're going to do is we're going to plant both sides of this with some melons that are going to grow smaller, and other vining items like cucumbers, and we've got a couple of small squash, patty pan squash. If you harvest them right away, they only get to be about, I don't know, no bigger than baseball size. So those should do really well on that. It's kind of fun to see the foliage cover it all up. And you can take a break and sit underneath that trellis in the shade in the middle of summer and enjoy it. There's a sandhill crane. You always hear them before you see them. I kind of lost them, but anyway. The wildlife is in full effect here. Each evening there's anywhere between 12 and 18 deer roaming around out here, which is why we have the electric fence. And yeah, that's all we got. It's a lot of dirt right now, but it's gonna come along nicely. We're excited. I'm documenting this so that we can learn from it and we can share it with family and friends to help you understand why we are spending every weekend here to maintain this. And we're going to do everything we can to get things to produce and enjoy them while they're fresh. And then we're going to do a bunch of preservation too. So canning, freezing, all kinds of fun stuff. We will document all that too. You can watch it if you're interested. If you're not, it's okay. Just figured I'd put this out here to share for anyone who might want to see what we're up to. So that's today. The plans for the rest of the day include getting all of that in the ground and figuring out more tarping. I think most of the rest of this is going to get tarped. We'll have to see for sure. But it just really helps save time with weeding, and that's the name of the game. So anyway, ta-ta for now. Perhaps I will record a little bit more as the day goes on so that you can see what our progress is, and then also do a quick video at home in Bloomington so that you can see what we got cooking there. Should be interesting.